Today's video is going to be a 2-for-1 special. Let's talk about relationships. More specifically, umjolo. Jolo ki pandemic, ki coronavirus, ki fatuko, ki scam. Mjolo wanyisa, ki create challenge, ki tsuape, ki undisputed champion, ki underwear bossman, ki pyramid scheme, mjolo ki chess no checkers. And honestly, I'm saying all these things to emphasize the struggle I thought we'd be watching in MOTHO WAKA. The way the story was set up, I really thought that it would be about the struggles of a single, successful, independent woman in her 30s navigating dating in today's landscape. You know, dating apps, club hopping, blind dates, slip and slides in the DMs, bold target practice on the timeline, or even queuing at Woolworths. I thought that MOTHO WAKA was going to be a satirical examination of what dating is like in our climate, all while our protagonist is racing against the ticking of her biological clock. It was not that. By the end of the film, I was disappointed. The way they set up this film had me hyped. But clearly, I need to stop investing in potential. I need to stop setting my expectations so high. Before I get into this review, I want to reiterate that this isn't against the creators. I did enjoy parts of this film, just that the story was shaky. It was like a house of cards. Sharp, let's talk about MOTHO WAKA and the missed opportunity of exploring dating Mzansi. Uluyanda, our protagonist, goes on a blind date which was set up by her best friend who is deeply in love with her fiancé, and naturally she wants her BFF to have a slice of that. Her date Zolani arrives an hour late with no phone call, no SMS, no WhatsApp, no DM, no email, no please call me, and he didn't even try buzzing her. On top of all of that, he walks in with no peace offering. And then, for reasons I can only describe as desperation, Uluyanda decides to wait and tell this man her worth. This man has already shown her that he doesn't respect her or her time, and instead of just walking away, she wastes more of her time by trying to explain how worthy she is. Then, because Uzolani felt attacked, he elicits alpha male strategies number 5203 and says verbatim, "This is exactly why women like you end up alone, then go on social media complaining about men." If my doctor, any doctor for that matter, spoke like that about women, I would be scared for my life. Then they didn't even take the time to explain where his mentality came from or why it just disappeared into thin air. Why would a doctor throw alpha male talking points in a conversation like that and then expect a woman to turn around and take him seriously? That's a predator. So because we all know where this storyline is going, the writers decide to force Uluyanda and Zolani to work together for hours, which, as we all know, would inevitably lead to Uluyanda falling in love with Dr. Alpha Male Strategies. And I mean, of course she's gonna fall in love. A lot of women, especially if the bar is in Satan's living room, just need to spend time with someone, then boom, basemathandweni. Then these two become lovebirds, and just like that, I was bored. Everything from the romance to the drama was forced. It was forced and it didn't feel natural, and I didn't care what was happening. And this is from a hopeless romantic. I was hoping this film would focus on Uluyanda dating, on her dating different men while working on the wedding with Dr. Alpha Male Strategies. and he would see that she's not interested in him, then he would try everything in his power to win her over, because she was the first woman to ever walk away from him. So then the doctor would try everything in his power, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work, and he wouldn't give up, because Uluyanda wouldn't give him a straight up no. Instead, she would encourage him by occasionally entertaining his advances so that he keeps trying, until one day he starts introspection, looking within, doing inner work, and he finally opens up and his actions start being genuine, and she agrees to a date. Then they fall in love. The IVF storyline, the wedding drama, and the twin pregnancies can still fit in this timeline. But instead, MOTHO WAKA was a waste of a great idea. The setup was spectacular. But what happened along the way? Why should we care what happens between this news reporter and this doctor? What did Luyanda learn? And how did Zolani unlearn his toxic alpha male mentality? One of the most basic screenwriting rules is that a character should change as they chase their goal, whatever the goal is. And how did these two change exactly? I really expected more from this movie, and that's my fault. I did say we're talking about relationships, right? Okay. I adored Umzi Watsha. I was actually disappointed that this is the only clip I could find from the film, because as a preview, it's not doing this film any justice. These two, Ulwando no Xolelwa, lovers, guys. They are lovers, a team, a partnership, or ride or die through thick and thin. We meet them celebrating their wins. They seem so supportive of each other, patient with each other, present, and they're going into new chapters of their lives together. These are two people who have become symbiotic and are ready for new challenges. Then, just as I was starting to feel warm and cozy, and I was about to start chanting, I receive, a challenge knocks at the door. And then suddenly I stopped living vicariously through these two, and like a pile of bricks, the happily ever after for Uxolelwa became a nightmare, and I was there for the ride. Anyway, I was by her and the baby girl's side. The only reason why the challenge lasted as long as it did was because of Ulwando, the hubby, and his mixture of fear, shame, and a desire to make up for lost time. These emotions led him to keep secrets from his day one. From the one person on this earth who, by virtue of her position in his life, where he placed her as his right-hand man, he was not supposed to keep secrets from. Lwando began lying about working cases just to spend time with the second family. This man was literally playing happy family with his baby mama and his daughter, risking a 13-year marriage because he was in his feelings. Don't get me wrong, Lwando has a big heart, but the way he goes about having a big heart was fucking ruthless. How do you move your side/baby mama into the house because she's dying without telling your wife? How do you make those kinds of decisions that also affect your wife without involving her? He had valid reasons at every turn to be open and honest and move with integrity, but he chose violence each and every time. And his actions, even though the intent was solely to protect himself, were catalysts to breaking his wife down. Everything he did was a blow to her esteem as a woman, as his wife as his partner, his other half. At every new revelation, he unintentionally chipped away at his wife. From her point of view, she had become a third wheel in her own home, and this was obvious for everyone to see. It would have been so much easier for her to digest this new life that they are going into had he been upfront with her from day one, not just dropping things on her like a pile of bricks, like she wasn't his partner anymore. In the end, of course, it worked out beautifully, and even though we saw it coming, I was still happy. I could sit here and talk about the ebb and flow of life and how challenges are meant to make you stronger and not break you, but I want to focus on the writing. I want to talk about the screenplay. There was nothing spectacular about the writing, but this is definitely a feel-good movie for me. These types of movies are entertaining, and the setups are always exciting. Even though we know what's going to happen in the end, how everything will be resolved is what draws us in. This movie was a puzzle that the writers crafted beautifully. And according to one study I read, even when the plot twist is known in advance, viewers still experience suspense, which is true. In Umzi Watsha, we saw the resilience of the human spirit, the power of forgiveness, and in turn taking accountability, acceptance, and a new beginning. The writers did all of that, plus answer every question I had. But what I want to know is, am I the only one who watches other people go through things, fictional or not, and then I find something to add to my prenup? Looking at Umzi Watsha, you want to tell me that since I want to get married and be a wife one day, that I might have to put up with simple, stupid lies?